Hi everyone, and welcome back to Talkin to Teachers. My name is Chris Hite, and today I'm joined by a familiar face from our school and college counseling department here at CBA. Today I'm with Mr. Brennan, our Director of School and College Counseling, as well as a counselor himself here at the Academy. Mr. Brennan, how are you today?
Doing great, Chris. I'm excited to be here. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks. It was really nice meeting you right before we started the episode. We really haven't met yet, so I always love meeting new teachers. Everyone's so nice, and it's really great.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to kind of get to know you a little bit better right before we got on, and really looking forward to kind of hearing a little bit more about your trajectory and where you're planning on going after you graduate from the Academy. So, but excited to be here to talk a little bit about my story as well.
I'm really excited to hear it. So here we go. First question I always start with in every episode now. What is your CBA origin story? How'd you end up here at CBA?
Yeah, sure. So my story actually begins in 1997, which is kind of crazy to say. I was 7 years old, and my father got offered a job here. So he was actually the director of guidance, and he came from Manhattan College, where he served as the dean of admissions. But he took the role here as the director of guidance in 97 and worked here for many years until he retired in 2012. And throughout that time, I had the great pleasure of coming to a lot of athletic events, seeing the Colt crazies in the stands, cheering on the Colts, seeing a lot of great success, and was just always around CBA. So when I got to 8th grade, there was no other option for me. I knew I wanted to come to CBA. So I had a fantastic 4-year experience here at the Academy, met a lot of phenomenal teachers, had a great time connecting with so many of my classmates who I'm still in touch with to this day. And really just the Academy left such an impact on who I was, and I was always hopeful that maybe one day I would end up back here. I wasn't sure exactly what that would look like, and didn't know if it would ever be the case, but very, very fortunate to kind of be back here at the Academy for my year 2 now as the Director of School and College Counseling. My role, at CBA and coming back to the Academy really came out of working on the college side, doing college admissions, and for so many years having the ability to recruit, students from CBA and still being so connected to the school. So even though it had been, I graduated in 2007, even though it had been so many years since I've been back in the hallways, here on a continuous basis, it still was such a great connection and a great opportunity to kind of come back to CBA, and very happy to be here.
Sure. Sounds awesome. Now, I'm going to make a connection to another Talking to Teachers episode, and this was not staged before, but Mr. Frake actually mentioned, Mr. Brennan, your father, about, now, was he the SAD moderator before Mr. Frake? Because he mentioned that, and that was part of Mr. Frake's origin story, believe it or not, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so Mr. Frake and my dad had a phenomenal relationship. My dad had this ability to connect with students on multiple levels, and him and Mr. Frake really formed a really strong connection. And I always, after my dad retired and Mr. Frake started working here at CBA and then took on being the moderator of SAD, I could think of no one better to kind of do that role. And, Mr. Frake has done a phenomenal job kind of keeping that legacy going and building onto it and really making it his own. But a lot of it's been really cool to see that connection. So that's great that he was able to mention my dad in the previous episode.
Yeah, I thought it was so awesome. And when he mentioned him, I just thought to myself, I'm like, this is the perfect connection from this episode to another episode. It's going to be great. So it was really awesome. But anyway, going to my next question, what inspired you to work in school and college counseling?
So it definitely is a family tradition, I would say, in my house. So both my parents were in education. My mom was a teacher. Then she was a professor on the college side. My dad did college admissions for Manhattan College, Iona College, Dominican College before coming to the high school side and coming to CBA. But I have 2 of my brothers are high school counselors in New York. My sister started off as a counselor and then she became a teacher and then a counselor, and now she does more private mental health counseling. And then I have my other brother, because I'm the youngest of 5, is a lawyer. So he does a different type of counseling, is what we like to say. So it kind of has been a family tradition, wanting to get involved in counseling, and I would say that I always knew that at some point I would come to this side of the desk after doing college admissions for so many years. I wanted to build up a network of people, of colleagues that I knew from different schools and universities, and hopefully use that knowledge to help CBA students hopefully get accepted into the schools of their dream. So as a result, I always kind of felt like being that individual who want to help students navigate the college admissions process was a really big role for me and something I wanted to do, while also helping them grow and mature and realize their full potential, not both inside the classroom and outside the classroom.
Absolutely. Gotta love a great family tradition.
Exactly.
Well, moving on. So, talking about your previous job experience, like you were just saying, how was your previous job experience at Providence? Big East rivalry. We were talking about me and my brother, big Seton Hall guys. You're a Providence guy. Big East everywhere. But how's your previous job experience at Providence differed from your time here at CBA?
So, I think one of the big aspects that's a little bit different is that whole idea of school and college counseling, right? So it's a really big role and job for me, and one of the things I value is the fact that I get to form relationships with students in all different aspects and not solely just the college piece. Don't get me wrong, we're highly focused on where students are going when they graduate from the academy, and we want to make sure that they're set up for the best possible success. But at the same time, we know that there's a lot of trials and tribulations that students go through during their time in high school, and we want to be there to support them through all the great successes and as well as maybe some times that are a little bit more challenging. So I think that's the major difference, is that holistic viewpoint of being able to form those meaningful relationships from an early age, whereas when I was doing college admissions, I was trying to form those relationships and doing it the best I could, but at the same time, you are trying to recruit students to eventually go to that school, right? And I was always pretty honest and open and saying like, hey, maybe we're not the best fit. Maybe there's another school that has a program that you're really interested in, like broadcasting. Mm-hmm. I would say, hey, we could make this work, but it might not be the best possible, chance for you, at our school. So it's just really all dependent upon what the situations and what arose that I was really interested in doing. But I will say, what is the common denominator is forming meaningful relationships with students. And when I was able to find that student, like a CBA student who fell in love with Providence and was able to have them be accepted and come and be a part of the community, I felt like I was making a difference. And I feel and I hope that I'm doing the same thing now here at CBA while they're looking for schools outside of just Providence. Even though I'm a little biased, we do want them, to make sure that they're finding that dream school, whatever it may be.
Sounds awesome. You really bring a different perspective. I feel like, it's really useful for all of us, not even just the kids you were, the counselor for. Even for me, we were just talking about it. Mm-hmm. That perspective is just completely different. It's great. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying. Trying to make sure our presence is felt around the whole building, right? And not just with just seniors going through the process or just students who are struggling, but just making sure that they know that the school and college counseling office is a place that students can come to for a variety of reasons.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's so welcoming. We all hang out there now. It's the place to be. So now, moving on to a more less guidance-related question, as we would say. How has CBA changed from the time you were a student here to now being a faculty member?
Sure, yeah. I think one of the major things that is different is just the new facilities. I mean, the new fields have been incredible. I mean, when I was a student here was when they built the what's now called the rugby fields out in the Ralph Montadoro, fields, Brother Andrew O'Garo, like those fields in the back of the campus. But now seeing the brand new track and the new soccer and lacrosse field, as well as the brand new dining hall, I mean, those new facilities are just absolutely incredible. Things like the crew facility wasn't here when I was really a student. Those newer locations on campus is, I think, brought a new energy to the school, and the fact that there's no more construction currently going on, I think, is also really nice. So even though there's been some physical changes to campus, I think one of the things I love the most is the fact that the values have always been there, and they've never changed. While we've evolved in different ways, who we are at the root, I think, has always been known, and something that I think our students really appreciate. And even though you can change physical spaces, I think what makes CBA such an amazing place is the people that make it up. Whether it's the administration, the faculty, the teachers that just care so deeply, for our students, or just the students that are here in general. Working with them, working with our colleagues, there's just so many people, all the way from Don and in the dining services, all the way up to President Faust, who just show how much that they really care about the students. And I think that, to me, is what has been so special and has remained constant, through the years.
Sure, and that's an idea we're trying to highlight on Talking to Teachers, this podcast, because, teachers mean so much to the students, and that's kind of the point of what we're trying to show, and I couldn't agree with you one way, really. I just couldn't.
Yeah, and it's great to see that through the years, too, I think students like yourself have had those experiences, and what a great avenue to kind of promote this, right? And I think this is just such a really cool experience that you're doing here, so I applaud you for all your efforts.
Appreciate it. Well, one more question for you, Mr. Brennan. So this is a good one I've kind of started asking in the second season now. What do you hope to see in your future years here at CBA?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I mean, like I said, we just added so many new facilities. So I think our facilities are top notch. I think we've done a really great job with a lot of different things. I think for me is the expansion of different curriculum and programs that we've been talking about through the years, like the fine arts, for example, communication and broadcasting is another one. I think that we can continue to kind of grow that. I would love to have the opportunity to have more students involved in, say, like an internship or externship or shadowing experience to kind of take what they're learning in the classroom and have more of an experiential learning component that I think that they're going to experience in college, but if we can bring that down to the high school level, I think that'll be better suited for them. And ultimately, in my role, I'm hoping that we can continue to increase the number of wellness initiatives to make sure that we're addressing students' mental health, all the challenges that they may be facing, helping them develop those coping skills to battle different components, as well as, just focusing on the overall well-being, whether it's needing more sleep or nutrition, just everything tied to kind of wellness in general. I'm hoping we can continue to do a little bit more to help students where they are, because at the end of the day, I think what we do here is we try to help the students and we try to meet them where they are. And we know that the adolescent years, there's a lot of time for transformation. So hopefully we continue to transform students in mind, body, and spirit. Which is hopefully something we're able to accomplish in the years to come.
Absolutely. As an alumni, I can't believe I'm saying that right now. As an alumni, I hope that I can't wait to come back and see all the great improvements, and even, again, going back to the other one, the values. I can't wait to come back and see all that stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. It was great having you on, Mr. Brennan. I cannot thank you enough. One of my favorite episodes already. So for Mr. Brennan, I'm Chris Height. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.